Hello, hope you're all okay. In this video we're going to be doing a book review and sort of analysation of standing out from the crowd, so to speak. Now this book's called Purple Cow. It's by Seth Godin. He is like a great independent thinker. If you actually type in Seth Godin on YouTube, you'll see some of his talks as well. To be honest, this is the first Seth Godin book that actually I've read. And I was very impressed, and I've heard really good things about this book in general. When Seth Godin does get mentioned, it's usually this book that also gets mentioned with him. The Purple Cow. And the title says it all, really. Transform your business by being remarkable. And the idea is, if a purple cow, if you saw a normal cow, it's not worth making a remark about because they're all the same. But if you happen to see a purple cow on the side of the road, you would make a remark about that because it's worth making a remark about. And then that's how something spreads, is if you create something that is so different, so innovative, so just remarkable, like it says, then people will make a remark about it, and then it spreads through word of mouth. And that means you don't necessarily have to spend millions on advertisement campaigns yearly. If you make something that people talk about, that does some of the advertising for you. So it just talks about that, and I think it's a very interesting concept, I think. And we'll just read a few of the things at the back. Okay, it says, the old ways of marketing are dead, and being safe is now too risky. So you see it all the time, and I believe it is a mistake to be safe. You see it all the time in adverts. Oh, this is the price of the product, and we beat them on price. This is what it does. Okay, that doesn't get over. That's like a logical expression. I should buy this product because it's the least, it's the most cheapest. No, what you should be doing, in my view, is you should be actually invoking emotion in your adverts. Tell a story in your adverts. So if you're actually advertising, doing marketing, tell a story with whatever you're trying to sell. Whether you're trying to, and this could be applied to anything. Maybe you're trying to sell yourself sort of at an interview, you're trying to get a job. Don't go, I am this, I am passionate, I am this, because everybody that gets an interview there is saying the same thing. You've got to think about, how am I going to make an emotional connection with that employer, or that emotional connection with that business, or emotional connection with that product? You got to think, how are you going to tell a story so that can help influence whatever you've got, and then it's worth making a remark about. If something's just cheaper, the chances are people aren't going to be talking about the fact that it's cheaper. They want to be talking about what's behind the product. Is there any story to tell with it? I mean, a good example of that is what I'd like to say just really quickly, is when you had that Sainsbury's advert. It was here in the UK. I'll try to link it in the sort of description if you want to have a look. And the Sainsbury's advert, basically what it was telling a story of sort of a World War II thing or something. It was like a war or something, and then both sides at the end coming together and sort of shaking hands. And then you had the Sainsbury's logo coming on. Of course, that's got not necessarily much to do with the supermarket, but they invoked an emotional reaction through an advert, and they stuck their logo on it, Sainsbury's. So when people are on the street, and I heard it all the time, my friends were like, did you see that Sainsbury's advert? Did you see that Sainsbury's advert? Did you see that supermarket advert? People are talking about it. More people are then going to Sainsbury's, just by sort of cognitive thinking, because they've just been discussing it loads. Maybe I'm talking bullshit, but that's how I feel, really. I think the idea of trying to make a remark or something, and I think that's what this book stands on, is basically how you stand out and make your product remarkable, worth making a remark about it. Okay, so let's get into this. So the book is about your product, idea, company, and it's about making it stand out. It's not to please everyone. One of the sort of main points that it makes is that with your product, service, whatever you're trying to do, is you do not want to appeal to everyone. You want to think of what your specializations are with yourself, your product, your company, and stick with them, and stick with an audience that's going to like what you're doing. You don't need to appeal to everybody. You just need to find a specific target market and really sort of drill into that target market for it to then become successful. Because once you've got a good amount of fans, so to speak, 20, 30, 40, 50 people who like your product, really like your product, and these are sort of early investors in your products, they would go out their way to tell their mates about this product, etc. Because you're really catering towards them, living off the remarkable idea. Now, it actually goes into companies who've actually come up with an idea that's remarkable, and then they live off sort of the heyday, so to speak. So they come up with this idea, they do something remarkable, and then they just milk it. They just milk the idea. They milk it for money, and then they take ages to think of another remarkable thing. They play it safe because they're making all this money off this remarkable idea. They think, right, we'll just keep doing this safe, and then forgetting about the fact that they tried something not safe to begin with. They tried something innovative. What all of these companies have in common is that they have nothing in common. They are all outliers. They're on the fringes, super fast or super slow, very exclusive or very cheap, very big or very small. The reason it's so hard to follow the leader is this. This is very important. The leader is the leader because they did something remarkable. And that remarkable thing is now taken. It's no longer remarkable when you do it. So it's talking about, going back to the original factor, if you're trying to be remarkable by doing something that a company has already been done and already been recognised for, then unless you do it in a different way, in an original way, in a unique way, then you're not going to be any sort of market leader in that sort of idea, company or industry. So I think that's a really good quote. It's on page 20. If you're a Pearl Jam fan, you know that from 2001 through 2002, the band released 72 live albums, all available on their website. They're not trying to interrupt strangers, they're selling to the converted, the tribe. Pearl Jam knows that once they have permission to talk to someone, it's much easier to make a sale. They know that the cost of selling an album to the audience is relatively minuscule, and they've turned a profit on the 72 albums. So again, because they're selling it on their website, so they don't have sort of third-party fees with Amazon, etc., because they're selling it on their own website, and they're already selling it to the converted, they're selling it to people who are already interested in the product. So the fact that they're putting so many products out there, it doesn't really matter, because they want more and more products, and they want to get more and more content, and the converted, the tribe, is willing to pay for that content. So that's another good example of how you be remarkable, but then you sort of milk it in your own way, and you make sure that you're catering towards the people that you've influenced, the tribe that you've actually built. I think that overall this is a really interesting book. There's so many different points that are in the book, but I can't go through them all, obviously. But I'd definitely recommend buying this book. I'll leave a link down in the description for it. And overall, I'd rate this booktacular. I mean, this is a really, really good book, and I would recommend it to anybody. Thanks for watching.